And of course, we're tracking Chris, which is still off the coast of North Carolina, but really, if you were out today, you wouldn't really notice it other than, of course, the rough surf and those rip currents. And we've got clear skies and some cool temperatures. Some spots already down into the 50s this evening. Taking a look at the radar right now, that's sweeping clear. And on the wider view, you can see Chris, again, still spinning here. Have seen a few of those showers through the outer banks. But for the rest of us, we've been seeing lots of clear skies, sunny conditions, and those winds out of the northeast have kept temperatures down. Today, only 79 degrees for an afternoon high temperature. So through the evening, already looking at some spots down into the 50s, and we'll see a lot of 50s on the map tomorrow morning as you're watching Crystal on 13 News Now at daybreak. Temperatures right near the coastline in the 60s, but a little bit of a shift in the wind will mean temperatures will be up a little bit more tomorrow. Still looking at sunny skies for just about all of us. The exception down along the outer banks could be a cloud or a shower or two. And readings likely 86, 87 degrees for the afternoon, a little bit cooler near the coastline, up near 90 once you move inland away from the water. But again, another day with sunny skies. Looking ahead towards Tuesday evening, mainly clear skies once again. And by Wednesday, that's when the cold front that's going to push Chris finally out of here will be approaching Hampton Roads. So a little bit of a shift once again in the winds coming in out of the south. Push those temperatures up even more, likely around 88, 89 degrees. And there is a chance that we could see an isolated shower. I've actually dropped the chances for rain a little bit on Wednesday, saying only about a 20% chance of rain. I think the best chances will be south of the area once the front moves through. And then we're looking at cooler temperatures again for Thursday. And we'll see what happens with Chris as that front finally pushes it out into the Atlantic. Right now, it's still stationary, and it will be for another day or so, finally starting to move off towards the northeast after being picked up by that cold front. And notice still likely developing into a hurricane within the next 12 to 24 hours. And that's not the only thing we're watching in the tropics. We still have the remnants of Beryl here just south of Puerto Rico. And there is a chance once it crosses over the island of Hispaniola and up into the Bahamas and into these warmer waters that it could try to re-strengthen. About a 50% chance in about 4 or 5 days. That's if it survives going across the island of Hispaniola. Lots of big mountains there that serve to tear these storms apart, but something we'll watch as we get into the weekend. Mainly clear skies right now, a temperature of 68 degrees. Winds are calm, humidity at 81%, 65 in Surrey, already down to 56 in Chesapeake, 58 in Franklin, 59 Melfort, 67 in Matthews, and 69 in Elizabeth City. So for tonight, cool night, mainly clear, 64, 87 tomorrow, an Outer Banks shower, otherwise sunny and warmer, 71 tomorrow night and 88 on Wednesday with an afternoon shower thunderstorm possible. Drop that down to about a 20% chance. 84 and partly sunny on Thursday, 85 Friday. We're back into the upper 80s to near 90 by early next week.